Hola Spain lovers, Stuart here with another video, and Spain is known for its relaxed lifestyle, but there are some surprisingly strict and downright weird laws that could land you in hot water, and you might even cop a fine. So today I'll be looking at some of those weird laws, rules and regulations that could get you in trouble here in Spain. From walking around with your shirt off to taking shells from the beach, these are 12 things that could land you in hot water here in Spain. Let's get started. Now, the first thing we'll talk about today is related to something that I just mentioned, and that is wearing swimwear away from the beach. Now, picture this. It's the middle of summer here in Spain. It's 35 degrees. You've just left the beach and you think to yourself, why bother putting a shirt on? Well, walking around some Spanish towns and cities without your shirt on is a quick way to lose some money. In some cities, for example, Palma in Mallorca, Barcelona or Malaga, it's illegal to walk through the city centre in only your swimwear. And many locals here in Spain see it as disrespectful. The beach is for swimwear, cities are for clothes. Now, you're probably not going to be arrested for something like this unless you argue with the police officer, but as I said before, you might cop a hefty fine. So remember, if you are at the beach or at the pool, it's okay to take your shirt off, but outside of those areas, try and keep it on, because nobody here in Spain wants to see you, or anybody else for that matter, with their shirt off. Now, another thing that gets a lot of tourists in hot water is drinking alcohol in public spaces. And it can be a bit confusing for tourists because they see locals doing this all the time. Here in Spain, it's called botellón, and young people love to do this at weekends. And a lot of tourists see the locals doing this and think they can do it too. But it's not the case. In most cities and towns here in Spain, drinking alcohol in public, for example in the street, in parks, at the beach, or in squares like this one here, is banned. Unless, of course, you're buying alcohol from a licensed establishment, for example a bar, and they have tables set up in the area. But if you go to a supermarket or a convenience store, buy alcohol, put it in a bag and bring it to a place like this, sit in the corner and drink it, you could get fined. And the fines for this can be quite hefty. And believe me, local police are patrolling areas like this one on the lookout for this type of behavior. So remember that locals here in Spain often do this and get away with it because they know the quiet spots, but tourists often don't. So don't throw away your hard-earned cash by doing something that is easy to avoid doing, and that is drinking alcohol in public spaces. Now, another way that visitors to this country often fall foul of the law is by sleeping in places that they shouldn't be sleeping. For example, the beach. Now, sleeping on the beach in those hot summer months under the stars sounds romantic until the police wake you up at 6 a.m. and tell you to move on. And this is where things can also start to get a bit ugly. A lot of coastal towns or cities here in Spain have completely banned overnight camping or sleeping at the beach, because it's all about safety, cleanliness, and protecting the local environment. And there has been a big crackdown on this in recent years because a lot of people are traveling to Spain now in their vehicles, in their vans, enjoying van life. They pull up at a beach and think they can spend the night there camping. And maybe you might get away with it for one night, but any more than one night, you'll be pushing your luck and risking a fine. So pay attention to the signs, and if you see a sign that says no se puede pernoctar, you can't sleep there overnight. Now, another thing that you need to be careful of here in Spain is taking pictures of Spain's law enforcement officers. Now, I don't know how this works in other countries because I've seen plenty of videos on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok of people filming the police, but here in Spain, I wouldn't be doing that, especially if they are going about their daily duties and you are impeding them from doing that. And the problems for you, if you do record police officers here in Spain, will arise when you publish those images. You have to be careful with that. And the fines can be very hefty. So my recommendation, avoid it at all costs. So the general rule, if somebody is in uniform, don't film them. You might think that it's an innocent recording, but the law might see it differently. Now, the next thing that could cause you to part with your hard-earned cash unnecessarily here in Spain is smoking at the beach. Many town halls and councils here in Spain that have a beach in their municipality are starting to roll out these anti-beach smoking laws, and the fines can also be quite hefty. There'll be signs up all over the place warning you against smoking on the beach, so be careful with this too. And again, just because you see locals doing it doesn't mean that it's legal. A local here in Spain most likely will be able to convince the local police officer not to give them a fine, but you won't have the same language skills. And the goal here is quite clear. Spain wants clean beaches. So if you're at the beach here in Spain and you need to light up and have a smoke, get off the sand. Now, this next one is a little bit strange, or at least for me, and it is using a metal detector in certain places here in Spain. It's illegal. Now, if you are at the beach with your metal detector and you are combing the sand looking for things that people might have left behind, no problem. But if you are with your metal detector at a historical site here in Spain, you could run into problems. Spain has a cultural heritage law that treats some buried objects as national property. So you can't just pick them up, put them in your pocket and sell them on eBay. Even using your metal detector casually at heritage sites here in Spain could get it confiscated by the police. And if you are going to do this, make sure you get a permit. Now, another way that you can get into trouble and cop a hefty fine here in Spain is feeding pigeons or stray cats. Now, these things are not banned in every town and city here in Spain, but in some of the big ones, for example, Barcelona, you can't feed pigeons. And many local councils all over the country will have strict laws about feeding stray cats in parks, for example. So if you see them, don't feed them. And again, the reason for these bans is related to health issues. You might consider feeding stray cats to be a kind act, but the authorities might see you as a public nuisance. So again, pay attention to the signage if you're in a park or a square here in Spain, because those laws might exist. And again, you don't want to lose money over something like this. Now, this next one is for all of the musicians out there or budding street artists, and you need to know the laws when it comes to performing in public spaces. For example, you can't just pull out your guitar and start strumming away in many towns and cities here in Spain without permission. You will see fantastic street artists and musicians here in Spain, but the majority of them will have a permit. And playing without a permit means that you might get fined or have your instrument confiscated, and you wouldn't want that, would you? And in some cities, you may even need to audition to get a permit. So if you're traveling around Spain with a musical instrument and you want to street perform or become a busker, make sure that you do go to the local council and get the correct permissions. That would be my advice. Now, in recent years, drones have become very popular. Many tourists take their drone on holiday with them because they want to get those amazing aerial shots. But here in Spain, the drone laws are quite strict. You'll need a license to fly a drone here in Spain, and even with a license, you still won't be able to fly that drone in certain areas, for example, crowded public spaces. And many tourists here in Spain over the years have been fined for flying their drones in places where they shouldn't, for example, over important monuments, because they want to get that once-in-a-lifetime shot. But the authorities will crack down on you hard. So if you want to fly your drone here in Spain, make sure that you get the correct license and you adhere to the rules and regulations, which may differ from country to country. So be aware of that. Now, for me, this one makes total sense. You can't be lighting fires or barbecues in outdoor areas for many months of the year. And believe me, the authorities will crack down on you hard if you do. I think between the months of June and October in rural Spain, lighting fires is completely prohibited, and you only have to have seen the damage that fires have caused in recent years, wildfires have caused here in Spain, to know that the authorities take this very seriously. It's another case in your back garden. If you want to have a barbecue in the month of August, no problems. But if you're traveling across rural Spain and you want to light a barbecue for your evening meal, It's all about preventing wildfires, and the penalties can be severe. So have your fun, enjoy your camping, but don't start barbecues in areas where they are not allowed to be started. Check the local council's rules and regulations. There might be a designated area where you can light a barbecue. Check for that. But if there's not, don't light up. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about, and another fine that you can avoid here in Spain, is when it comes to urinating in public. Now, you will see local people urinating in public all the time. People will stop their cars on the side of the road. They might go into a park like the one I'm in here, pull it out and start urinating, but it's against the law. And why anybody feels the need to urinate in public with the amount of bars and restaurants here in Spain, where you could quite easily go in, ask for a glass of water or a cup of coffee and then use their toilet, but people still do it. And in some of the party towns here in Spain, think Magaluf in the Balearic Islands, think Benidorm in the Valencian community, this is a big no-no, and the fines can be quite hefty, starting at around 300 euros, and that could put you out of pocket for the rest of your holiday. So again, if you are out and about drinking here in Spain and you feel the need to urinate, don't do it in public. Use the bar's toilets or another bar that you will find in the area. There are plenty. And the final thing I'm going to talk about today, and to be honest, I didn't know that this law existed, but apparently you are not allowed to take stones, sand or shells from the beach. You know how it goes. You're at one of the many beaches here in Spain and you want to take a souvenir back with you to remind you of the wonderful time that you have had in Spain. Well, you can't. And in some parts of Spain, for example, the Balearic Islands and the Canary Islands, they crack down on this more than in other places. So remember that. Again, this has something to do with Spain's environmental protection laws, and in recent years they have been cracking down on this because far too many people are taking souvenirs, as I said before, home with them, be it sand, be it shells, be it unique stones that they find on the beach, and they often get confiscated when you leave the country and fines are handed out. So if you want to take a souvenir from Spain home with you, buy it from the shop and don't take it from the beach. That would be my advice, and you will also avoid a hefty fine. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you know of any other ways that you can be fined here in Spain, fines that maybe you wouldn't get in your country of origin, please let me know in that comment section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video when I publish it. Until the next one, hasta luego from the outskirts of Madrid, Spain.